And that, my friends, is what all bloggers want. And no, I'm not talking about a traffic jam. We want traffic. We want prolonged and growing traffic. But that's not how it always goes. Sometimes we end up plateauing and we just don't know what to do. Well, today I have some ideas for you. Let's get into it. All right, really quick before we get into the solutions, we need to address two questions that will help you identify what path to take in terms of the solution. So the question number one is, why has your traffic plateaued? There are three really common reasons that I'm just going to address here really quick. Number one is that you've just stopped writing articles. Maybe you feel like you've written everything that needs to be written on your website. The second option is maybe that as you write the articles, you're just getting traffic falling off on the other side from older articles. So creating this balance of new traffic from new articles, but then falling off of old articles, causing you to just have no growth. And finally, the third option that's very common is that as you write new articles, you end up cannibalizing traffic from the articles you originally wrote. And so it kind of balances out, but again, you're not seeing growth. You're just spreading traffic out, the equal amount of traffic that you've already had across more articles. So there's less return on that investment. Again, those are just three of the very common reasons. You may have other reasons why your traffic has plateaued, but it's very likely that you fall into one of those categories. And the second question is, at what traffic level have you plateaued? Are you in the like 1 to 10,000 page view range, maybe 30 to 50,000 page view range, and then maybe 100,000 plus? The reason this is important to know is because depending on what level of traffic you are, it's going to change what piece of advice here that you should implement. So look at your analytics and figure out where you are at. Or if you're not in any of those categories specifically, figure out which one you're closest to. And then as I work through some of these solutions, I'll kind of identify which ones could work best for you. Solution number one is to simply write more articles. There are many of you who may have just stopped writing articles for various reasons, but it's very likely that you could gain more traffic by writing brand new articles. Now you might think, okay, really, this is like the most obvious tip ever. But here's the thing. When you are writing on a niche website, it's very common that we fill out our categories and we just feel like we've written everything that there is to be said. Maybe we are scared of cannibalizing our articles that we've already written, and so we really just don't want to dive into new articles that are just not going to give us that return. So what you can do here is probably look at new clustering of content. Look into opening up a new category on your website on a topic that you've not written on before. So rather than just oversaturating clusters or categories that you've already written, try to find a new category that would work. Maybe it's very closely related. It's going to be something totally different. So you could end up writing a whole new cluster or category on a topic that is closely related to your niche and that fits your website, but that's not going to end up hurting you or giving you diminishing returns. The other thing that I should say is, I know for some of you, you're probably worried about cannibalizing some of your traffic. And what you need to do is look at all of your articles that you currently have on your website and see when you cluster them together if there are any gaps. I know many creators are also afraid of going after articles that feel too big for their website. And so that ends up making gaps in the content when there really don't need to be gaps. There are probably articles that you may have shied away from going after because they felt too competitive, when in reality, if you just went for it, there's a good chance that you could get some decent ranking for it. And so evaluate your content, see if there are articles that you could fill out your clusters with, or try writing a whole new topic in a new category or a new cluster altogether. I think that this tip probably applies to 99% of people because we should always be adding fresh content to our websites. Solution number two is what we call the Battleship Audit. Battleshipping is when we go look at all of our content that we already have on our website and we identify what's working and what's not. And we take what's working and we just put it to the side, and then we look at what's not working and to what degree it's not working, and we figure out what we're going to do with that content to either optimize it or just get it out of the way, get it off the website so that we're not thinking about it anymore. So here are some parameters. When we talk about successful content, we're probably looking at an average of 500 page views per post per month. So anything that's 500 page views or above, you're going to want to put to the side. Anything that's less than 500 page views a month, you're going to be evaluating that content to see if it's working or not. And what I mean by evaluating is there's going to be some content that just flopped, maybe gets 1 or 2 page views a month. There's going to be some content also that does okay, maybe 200 to 400 page views a month. And then there's going to be the content that worked. So on the content that didn't work, if it totally flopped, there's probably a couple reasons. Maybe you wrote it too soon. Maybe it was too competitive, you didn't have enough EEAT or trust in Google's eyes, or maybe you just did a really crappy job. And so maybe that's something that you could come back to and fix up and actually rank for later on. Or it's something that you really just don't feel like is a good fit for your website anymore, and you're just not going to rewrite it and you're just going to leave it how it is. There's also now that content that did okay, maybe 200 to 400 page views. Well, you probably don't need to totally rewrite that content, but you might want to beef it up a little bit or improve it, see what other people are writing about, see what elements they're including in their blog posts. And then you're going to go into those blog posts and you're just going to fix them up to try and improve their rankings to get to that 500 page view a month kind of benchmark. By applying the Battleship method to your content, you're going to be giving old content a chance to refresh and renew and actually re-rank and provide value to you and your website. And so instead of writing brand new articles, or in addition to writing brand new articles, you're actually going to get more value from the content that's actually on your website. The Battleship method is awesome to do if you feel like you've written everything that needs to be written on your topic or in your niche, and you don't really want to write a ton of new articles. This will just help you like strengthen what you've already got, fix up what needs to be fixed up, and then you can just hold all of those keywords, all of those articles that you already have, and just have this really strong niche website that's going to provide you the traffic that you want. Just know here that at some point you probably will hit that cap, and so there will be other things that you can do to get more traffic, but we're going to talk about those a little bit later on. One little thing that I forgot here, any article that you want to evaluate with the Battleship method, you should let it have at least 8 to 10 months to rank before you evaluate that article. Anything younger than that, just don't mess with it. You need to give it that time for ranking. So if it's below 8 to 10 months, don't mess with it. If it's older than 8 to 10 months, go ahead and do the Battleship audit. Okay, on to the next one. We have interlinking. Now, we've talked about interlinking for a variety of reasons on this channel, but today we're going to be talking about interlinking in regards to getting more traffic. Now, interlinking is awesome, and this one's going to be most valuable for those of you who have probably done very little interlinking. You're going to see the biggest difference, but even for those of you who have done some interlinking, you're going to find value here as well. So interlinking is essentially taking articles and clustering them together by topic and interlinking them together, cross-referencing from one to another, so that the audience, when they come look at your articles, they're going to find as much value as possible. They're going to go from this article to that article. So you're essentially taking someone who would have been a one-page view viewer, and you're taking them maybe to 2 or 3 pages on your website, or giving them the opportunity to find those paths from page to page. So rather than just getting 1 page view out of that person, you're going to end up getting maybe 2 or 3. Therefore increasing the value of that viewer and getting more traffic. Not only is interlinking great for getting more traffic, but you can also interlink to provide value for your reader and also gain authority in Google's eyes. When Google comes and crawls your website, they're going to see that you have articles with related articles with related articles. As they crawl those various pages, they're going to see that you have a very filled out and full cluster of content, which is just going to help you seem more favorable and more authoritative in Google's eyes. And a little tip to kind of level this up even farther, find those articles that are highly monetized or highly monetizable and link to those articles. Take people who are coming to lower value informational articles and link to the articles that have maybe higher ad rates or have more affiliate links or things like that, and interlink to those pages so that when people click through, there's a better chance that they could purchase something or see a valuable ad. Those types of things will just increase not only the traffic on your website, but also the monetization. And for those of you who are not seeing a plateau, again, I'm just going to reiterate, you should be interlinking anyway. This is something that's just a really best practice for any blogger. And so if you haven't done this, go interlink now. Okay guys, really quick before I move on, would you guys mind liking this video and just leaving a comment down below if you found any of these things helpful? I really appreciate the feedback, and it just helps us know if what we're creating is working for you. Thank you so much, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, let's move on to the next few. And these next few I would say are out of the box. These are not things that we typically would just recommend on a normal basis, because we're typically going after organic Google traffic, as organic Google traffic seems to be the best long-term, safest plan for bloggers. However, there are probably some opportunities outside of Google traffic, like social traffic, that you could be pursuing that is not a bad thing to invest in little by little, but it's just not worth spending all your time on. So that being said, let's dive into this. The first one is industry outreach. Now, as far as industry outreach, there's about 1,000 things that you could do. You could be guest posting. You could be going on people's podcasts. You could be interviewed on YouTube channels. You could be going to local fairs or shows or events. Anything that gets your name out there, your business name or your personal name, those things are going to help get more traffic to your website. They're going to build authority for you, and they're going to give people opportunity to find you and be linking back to you as a credible resource. Industry outreach is a great opportunity for getting more traffic, and it does other great things for your website at the same time. The next one is writing for social media. And again, this is not one that we talk about a lot on this channel, but I think it's maybe one that we actually overlook a little bit, to be honest. And the reason why it's probably overlooked on our part is because we want you to write evergreen content that's going to bring organic Google traffic, because that's a very long-term solid plan. But social traffic can give you that bump or that boost to help you break through a plateau if you're really struggling to get additional traffic. So writing about things that are trends in your industry, news that's going on, anything that you might put in a newsletter, those are types of things that could be really, really helpful. If you happen to have a Facebook group that you're linked into, or maybe a Reddit thread or a Reddit group or whatever it is, this could help provide you that opportunity to get a little bit of extra traffic and get some additional momentum on your website. Again, this isn't something that I'd put all of my efforts into, but this is definitely something that I would put some of my efforts into, since news and trends and things like that can provide really valuable boosts in traffic that just give us additional momentum. Finally, that brings us to probably my personal favorite, and that's creating other forms of content on different platforms. Now, this could still be written content, it could be audio content, it could be video content. There's probably a lot of different options, and for your niche, you might have one that works especially well. Probably my favorite here is video content, because when we talk about video, my mind immediately goes to YouTube, because YouTube is one of the largest search platforms right now on the internet. And so creating video is such an obvious integration with a blog, especially since we typically go after search topics. When I create a blog post, I can immediately go and take that outline for that blog post and create a very similar helpful video. Now, when I'm writing my blog post, if I'm doing all the original research, going after original images, it's very likely that I'm very engaged in whatever my niche is. And so as I'm working through the process of showing something or explaining something, I could just video that. And then when I video it, I can put it on YouTube, probably get organic search traffic on YouTube that points back to my website. I can also get stills from the video to get original images. And then I also have like this awesome case study where I've done all the work, I've done all the original research, and I can show it. As bloggers, that's probably one of the most valuable things that we can do, is actually show that we are doing what we are doing. And that's why I love video so much. For bloggers, it's not that hard to fake that we've worked with the product. You know, we can go read all the reviews or go watch other people's YouTube videos. But when people see that we're actually engaged in what we're talking about, they trust us so much more. And that's what YouTube brings. Now, you may not want to create a YouTube channel, you may not want to create a podcast or whatever, but you could definitely just create a few videos, just put up a quick YouTube channel. You don't have to post on it regularly, but just anytime you write a blog post where you think a video might work well with it, go create a simple video. It could be a faceless video, so you don't even have to be on camera. But whatever the case is, creating other forms of media is incredibly useful and helpful for gaining more traffic. We have seen it time and time again where somebody's struggling with their blog, they create a YouTube channel, end up getting more traffic. We also see it where people create a YouTube channel and then they end up creating a blog because they know that blogs are helpful as well. Creating additional forms of content really just widens our opportunities. And while all of us here are definitely bloggers, I think that at the end of the day, we want to be business owners. We want to be content creators. And so when we work with other forms of media, it gives us a great opportunity to expand what is otherwise very limited on a blog. And so I think this is one of the best opportunities out there. Blogging can be a very frustrating process, and we know that because we have built many, many websites, and we have tons of students in Project 24 who are working through this process every single day. If you feel like you need just a little bit of extra help along the way, go to incomeschool.com and check out our membership, Project 24, where we teach you how to blog from the very beginning up to a full-time income, and also create other forms of media that will help support your website too. Thank you guys for watching. We very much appreciate your support, and we'll see you in the next video.